Next presenter is going to be Abukar Arman. Abukar Arman is a writer, a political analyst, and Somalia's envoy to the United States. And also, he's very active in the community and very active in the Muslim community as well. Please welcome Abukar.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah. I greet each one of you with the greetings of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm grateful to the speaker who was before me, Sherry Andes. She covered at least she laid the groundwork, if you will, for the next topic, the topic that I would like to touch on, which is leadership, in essence. She talked about community organizing at the community level, and she talked about the importance of leadership. So I want to open with this remark by saying there are three generally types of leadership, not the styles, but in general those whom we call leaders. There are those who come to a system that is in existence and they maintain that system. And they become effective leader in the process. And there are those who come to a system that's in place, whether it is an organization, a community, or anything like that, and they reform it. And then there is a third category who are what I would call the transformational leaders. Leaders who would come to a place where there is no system. And they have to build everything from ground up. And that's the topic of discussion for the next few minutes that I was allowed to speak, or the next half an hour, I should say. So I will try to cover that and then entertain few questions, hopefully. So by transformation, what does to transform something mean? In general, I think I gave you a hint in my opening remark, but in general, what comes to your mind when we talk about transformational leadership in our current situation, for example? Whether it is at the community level or country level or family level even. What comes to mind? Yes?
It could be that maybe you were a leader before, but now you've changed more into getting more knowledge and you transfer it to better leadership.
You are taking it to the next level. Good. Now, who comes to mind as individuals, for example, when we talk about transformational leadership? Individually, who comes to mind? Can you think of an individual who fits in that kind of description? Youth, okay, they can be, of course. They can be if they go through the process of becoming one. Yes, yes. Right. Either way, yeah, historical or contemporary or anyone. The right. Right. And thank you. That is one example of an individual, and there are many others, right? There are many others. We can think of in this country, for example, Susan B. Anthony, right? Right? Who is Susan B. Anthony? Anyone? Yes. Transformed the concept of voting rights, right? When it was male exclusive, and now it became universal, that women can vote, right? So is that a transformational leader? Of course. How about Abraham Lincoln? Yeah? How about Moses? Sayyidina Musa, alayhi salatu wasalam. We mentioned Sayyidina Muhammad. And figures like that transformed the way people think. And then they left impression behind. What's unique about these individuals are individuals who come with a vision. And their vision is much broader than the narrow vision that an average leader would have. An average leader might be thinking about how to take my company's or advance my company's interests, for example. And he or she would be limited in that framework. Whereas a transformational leader would be much broader in their thinking and in their scope. And I'll give you some of the criteria or some of the attributes of a transformational leader. Then they train individuals who become the successors. They train them to carry that message. So their message, long after they're gone, it continues. That's why we mention these historical figures today in this gathering. Years later, centuries later, in some cases millennia later. So we're mentioning them because the values that they left behind are that important. And the values are oftentimes universal values. Values that you and I can take it to a different situation because it transcends time and space and conditions and everything. You can take them and apply them anywhere, and it works the same. People of different languages, people of different cultures. You take the same system and apply it, and it works equally the same. So that's the difference between the average leader and the transformational leader. So keep that in mind as we progress, as I cover some of these attributes of the transformational leader, and then we'll, as I said, I'll entertain some of the questions. So they are persistent individuals who are focused on positive change. They want to do something positive, something good. They take societies like the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu, and it was mentioned as the first example, taking people from the state of ignorance into a state of enlightenment, in understanding what it is to be a human being and to be part of living with others. And what responsibility do you have as an individual towards your God, towards yourself, towards your family, towards your community, and then society, and so forth and so on. So in every aspect of the person's existence, not just one area, because there are a lot of people who excel in certain areas. And you can find many examples of that. But you will not find a whole lot of people throughout the human history who would excel in every area that they attempt. So in other words, they can be just person in one setting. For example, a person can be a just human being who practices justice when he or she is dealing with people of his faith, for example. And then in that context, he or she is clear as to how he should render justice. But when it comes to others, much broader setting, then that individual would be violating and thinks that he or she is doing the right thing. So that's a narrow-visioned leader. Leader within that small context, but not leader, a transformational leader in the big context. So there is some difference between their way of thinking. So we said that the person would have a broader vision and not a narrow vision. We covered that. And then the person would have a strategic plan on how to accomplish that. And a lot of them do have that strategic plan. A lot of the managers, a lot of the leaders, a lot of family leaders would have a strategic plan of some sort. But to understand that it takes a process to develop certain or to train